Thank you so much, everyone. Welcome to back to the program, and let's move to this other side of the studio. I'd like to show you some figures that will give a background to our conversation tonight. I'm being joined on the program by INEC National Commissioner in charge of Voter Education and Publicity. There's so much to talk about with Mr. Festus Okoye tonight. Thank you so much, Mr. Okoye, for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I'll have asked you to come to this side, but this is not analysis part of it. This is just for us to query some of the figures and get some insights from INEC and some clarification quickly. The last time we came to this board, I showed you that this was the figure, the 4 million, the figure we took into the 2019 election. Don't forget, and keep that on your left arm, because I'm going back to that figure much later. Now, this is the newly completed figure that we gotten from INEC as far as this continuous voter registration exercise was concerned, which brought us to this figure, 96 million. Very important. Now, keep that on your right hand. 84 million in 2019. Now we have 96 million altogether between 12 million and 84 million that we have now. So in terms of the completed voter registration in 2019. So you can see, and you can be able to make sense of which region of the country has perhaps the highest voting population based on the voter register. Now, I'd like to make a clarification here that voter register is different from the permanent voters collected and those who show up at the election point, at the voting point. Now, so that is very important for those who will be querying that, oh, well, you have the figure, but how many of those have collected their permanent voter card? It's good to collect the permanent voter card because this figure will mean nothing if you have not collected. So I'm showing you the possibility or the potentials in each of the region. Now, as of 2019, 15.9%, that is the percentage of the highest voting population we have in the country. Now, and if you look at it, go to 24%, apologies please, 24% was the highest, which is in the northwest region of the country, followed by the southwest, which has 15%, north central, then the southeast comes with the lowest, which has about 13%. So you can make sense of that. Now, this is not as important as some of this, but in 2019, you have the top 10 highest the states with the highest voting population in the country, from Lagos to Kano to Kaduna, Katsina, Rivers, Oyo, Delta, Plateau, Benue, and Bauchi. These are the states with the top, which stands at the 10 top states with the highest voting population as of 2019. Now, let me give you a sense of what is happening now. The top 10 by registration, this is it. Now, for 2019, Lagos stands as the highest. Now, in 2022, based on INEC CVR, which was concluded a few weeks ago, and you put the figures together, gives Lagos still the highest number, which is 7 million. Now, Kano comes second already with 6 million, Kaduna with 4 million, Katsina with 3 million, Rivers State in the south with 3 million, Oyo State in the southwest with 3 million, and Delta State in the south in 3 million. Plateau with 2.8 million, Benue State still in the north central, 2.8 million, and Bauchi State, 2.8 million. These are the states with the highest figure, if you put 2022 and 2019 together. So the regions by registered voters, you can take a snapshot in your mind and see where it stands. Really, no significant change because of 2019 figure, put it together with 2022, it still gives us almost a similar picture from 2019 when I said, put those figures in the left hand and your right hand. Now, let's make sense more on some of these things. Now, these are the states with the highest registrant, you see, similar to what we got. Now, one thing that we need to get clarity on as I move over to speak with Mr. Okoye, first and foremost, is on the issue of this register that I've showed our viewers tonight. One thing is very clear. There will be a cleanup. Give us an understanding of what this cleanup is all about.
We started this registration using two pathways. The first pathway was for people to carry out what we call pre-registration online before completing their biometrics in our state and local government offices. Then the second pathway was for those who carried out what we call physical registration. Now, if you recall, when we completed the first and second quarter of the continuous voters registration process, and we carried out a cleanup, at the end of that cleanup, we discovered that 44.6% of all those who registered were either multiple or double registrants. Now, for the registration we did between the 15th day of January 2022 and 31st day of July 2022, we are carrying out what we call adjudication as at present. In other words, we are cleaning up the voters register. At the end of this cleanup, these figures you are seeing will definitely come down because the multiple and double registrations that happened when we cleaned up the voters register for the first and second quarter also happened during this particular period. At the end of this adjudication, at the end of this cleanup, we will still display the voters register for claims and objections. It is at the end of this display and claims and objections that we are going to have a complete figure and a complete picture of the number of registered voters during this particular CVR. Yeah, it is thereafter that we now integrate this supplementary voters register with the main voters register, and then we get a complete picture of the number of voters that have registered for this particular period.
All right, because we have a lot of grounds to cover. Now,
yes.
In 2011, in 2015, INEC improved on its process of cleaning up its register. There is the AFIS, where you and give us an insight on how many stages or what are the steps in cleaning up this register.
Well, we carry out what we call deduplication using what we call ABIS. At the end of this particular process, if you carry that registration previously, for instance, in 2011 or in 2014, your name and your particulars and your data are already in the database of the commission. Now, during this particular period, if you go and register again, the implication is that you are engaged in multiple registration. And whether you registered previously in Lagos and now you registered in Kaduna or you registered in the FCT, when we carry out adjudication, your fingerprints will appear, your picture will appear previously, and the new registration you did will also appear. And then we will consider that you have done multiple registration, and we cancel your fresh registration. And that's exactly what we are doing. And we are almost completed the process of deduplication for this particular period.
Now, could it be the last voting registration that we could see before 2023?
Exactly.
There won't be any opportunity again.
We have suspended the CVR for this particular period.
So you're basically preparing to print the permanent voter cards after you've cleaned up the register? In the next few days, the Commission will display the voters register in the 774 local government areas of Nigeria and in the 8,809 registration areas for claims and objections. In other words, those whose names were not properly spelled can check the voters register and fill the necessary form, and we adjust it.
We adjust it. Those whose names we omitted, who registered, they can also complain, and we do the same. And those whose words have passed on can also complain, and we remove such names from the voters register. So immediately after these claims and objections, then we will go ahead to print the permanent voters, the PVC of all those who made the threshold for registration, and then those PVCs will also be trucked back to the various local governments and the various registration areas for purposes of collection.
Now, you heard what Serap said today, saying that INEC could face legal action if you do not allow 7 million Nigerians to get registered, and which, according to them, will have meant that you have disenfranchised those 7 million Nigerians.
Well, this is not the first time Serap is going to court. If you recall, they took the commission to court, claiming that we had no right, we had no locus, and we had no jurisdiction to terminate the voters registration process as at the time we terminated it. And the court came to a conclusion that came to a determination that the commission is the only commission, the only agency and the only organ that is constitutionally vested with the rights to register voters, update the voters register, and also revise the voters register. Secondly, the court also came to a determination that Section 9, subsection 6 of the Electoral Act must be read together with Section 19, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act to have a clear picture of what the lawmakers meant when they said the registration of voters shall end not later than 90 days to the conclusion of the exercise. And the court came to the conclusion that when the lawmakers use the word not later than, that they used it in the context of the fact that to indicate that the voters registration process must be done before a certain date or a certain timeline. So it does not mean that we must wait until that 30 days elapses. If you look at Section 19, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act, it says that the Independent National Electoral Commission shall display the voters register for claims and objections not later than 90 days before the date appointed for a general election. Then if you also look at Section 9, subsection 6 of the Electoral Act, it says that the registration of voters, the updating of the voters register, and the revision of voters register shall end not later than 90 days. So the implication is that the lawmakers were very, very clear on the fact that for you to have a sense of what they meant, you must do a community reading of all these sections for you to come to a determination of what they meant. And what they mean in the true sense of the word, in reading the Electoral Act in the ordinary sense of it, is that you must conclude everything relating to voters registration before a certain date or a certain time.
So what the setup is saying is that 10,487,972 Nigerians carried out online or pre-registration or online.
Yes.
Only 3,444,378 completed the process at a physical center. Yes. And they are saying allow the 7 million that could not do that to do just that. Is that fair enough to just allow them?
I think they don't understand the processes and procedures of the commission. And if you don't understand the processes and procedures of the commission, the right thing to do, the honorable thing to do, and the rational thing to do is to come to the commission and ask questions, and we will oblige you. Now, the online registration was the commission's own initiative, because if you look at Section 10, subsection 2 of the Electoral Act, it says that every person intending to register must present himself or herself physically to the registration officers of the commission. Now, the commission created the online platform in order to ease registration, in order to make registration seamless, so that you can complete all your data, and then at the end of the day, you just walk into a registration center and do your biometrics. Now, when we did the clean up for the first and second quarter of the voters registration exercise, we found out that 1.8 million of those who went online to do their pre-registration were those who were in diaspora, and they couldn't come back to complete the physical registration. We also found out that there were some people who started the online and abandoned the online and went and did physical registration. We also found out that there were some people who went to our portal, started and abandoned it, and then started afresh. So it is this figure, this combination of persons that the setup is claiming we are disenfranchised.
Okay.
So I think they don't understand our processes and our procedures.
So there is no need for legal action. So now, I want us to move on. There won't be CVR again until 2023. So, but when should we be expecting PVCs to be doled out or be given out to those who have rightfully and concluded their registrations?
Well, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, has told the nation that those who did their registration between the 15th day of January 2022 and 30th day of June 2022, that their PVCs will be ready for collection on or before the or October 2022. But those who register between the 1st day of July and the 31st day of July, that their PVCs will be ready on or before November 2022. And we are working assiduously to make sure that we realize this timeline.
So they can collect where they registered, actually?
Definitely, yes.
All right. Now, so quickly, clarify. I will show you some of the video. I'm very sure that you have seen some of these videos online. Permanent voter cards found in gutters, in very funny places, and people are worried that this, not only the fact that this is the monies that Nigerians have spent in printing this, these are some of these that surfaced online. People are saying that, look, why is this happening? Where are the permanent voters cards that are not collected? Why are we finding out that these PVCs are just being found buried somewhere?
Well, the commission has appealed to those who claim they found these PVCs to make these PVCs available to the commission so that we can carry out thorough investigation, so that we can carry out a forensic analysis of some of these PVCs. All our efforts have not really yielded the positive results, but our office in Rivers have written a report to the chairman relating to their own investigation on some of these PVCs. And when we have a meeting, maybe on Thursday, the chairman will unveil this particular report, and we see what is in there. Those who claim they found in Lagos, we are appealing to them to come forward with these PVCs so that we can carry out our own investigation, and they have not come forward. So we appeal to their sense of patriotism. Let them come forward with these PVCs so that we can investigate whether these PVCs are PVCs of the commission or whether these are clone PVCs.
Uncollected PVCs, where are they? Because there are uncollected PVCs from 2015,
yes.
2019.
Yes.
Where are they?
These uncollected PVCs are in our 774 local government areas as of today. This is because people are coming forward to collect these PVCs, and our registration officers, when they were going around to register voters during this particular period, also went along with them the PVCs of people from the registration areas where they were operating. So these uncollected PVCs are in our local government offices as of today.
So what is the guarantee that some of these PVCs will not be used by unscrupulous persons or politicians who are willing to win elections by all means?
Well, if you have multiple or double PVCs, you have nothing. This is because the data of each registered voter in Nigeria is domiciled in the BVAS, and the data is the data domiciled in the BVAS is the data of each registered voter in a particular polling unit. So no BVAS will have the data of any registered voter in a different polling unit other than the polling unit where it has been configured. And on election day, yes, you can go with someone's PVC, and we will see the person on the voters register. We will see the picture of the person on the PVC. But when it comes to the issue of accreditation, your fingerprint will not be read, and your facial will not be read. So what you have is just, you have air, you don't have anything.
Two quick questions before we close, Mr. Okoye. Clarify for us, in the case of Senator Godswill Akpabio and Senator Ahmed Lawan, what is going on? There are concern by people who are linked to these primaries and these the ticket, who are thinking that there are some dealings that they're not clear to them, that needs clarification. What is going on with these two senatorial districts?
Whatever needs to be clarified, the commission has clarified. The commission has made it very clear that under Section 29, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act, it is the responsibility of a political party to forward to the Independent National Electoral Commission the names or the list and personal particulars of their members who emerged from validly conducted party primaries. In these two constituencies, two names were forwarded, and the commission made a determination that the names forwarded to us were not persons who emerged from validly conducted party primaries, and we did not publish their particulars. And that is where we are. So the commission will not go out of its way to go and plead with a political party to forward the name of a candidate that emerged from a validly conducted party primaries. If a political party does not forward the name of a candidate that emerged from valid party primaries, the implication is that that particular political party will not have a candidate in the election for that particular constituency, and that is just the law.
So as far as you're concerned, or what you have with you, Senator Lawan and Senator Akpabio's names are not with you?
No, their names were uploaded by
APC.
By the APC to our candidates nomination portal. But the commission made a determination that they were not the candidates that emerged from valid party primaries. The commission did not publish their names and their personal particulars in their constituencies. So the implication is that as of today, the APC does not have a candidate in those two constituencies.
All right. Finally, and this is legal, and if you can do this for me in 30 seconds, I will be glad. Those who have raised controversy on those who have run for primaries, 2 different primaries, who have gone for nomination in 2 different primaries. What is the point of law? What's this? How does the law see them, and what is INEC doing? Because is INEC justified to look away in basically about what the new electoral act says?
Well, the conduct of party primaries is essentially within the domestic realm of the various political parties. The only thing the law says is that the commission should monitor the conduct of those primaries to make sure that the names that are submitted to the commission are the names of persons who emerge from validly conducted primaries. Now, the filling of nomination forms is a completely different issue. If you look at section 152 of the Electoral Act, it defines who an aspirant is and who a candidate is. And it is only candidates that fill nomination forms. Aspirants do not fill nomination forms. So it is only when candidates fill nomination forms that they come within the contemplation and come within the ambit of the Independent National Electoral Commission, and not before then.
Thank you, Mr. Professor Sokoye, for your time tonight. So much to talk about, but well, for those things that we are able to say, thank you for clarifying. I appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you so much.
That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimbaloye. Bye for now.